Welcome in everybody, welcome into the stream. I'm on the load up screen for the 737. I decided to load it up at the same time as starting the stream is a little bit different. As you can see, whether it does or does not work, I suspect it probably will. We're just having some issues before. Anyway, welcome in. We're going to try and do the 737 Ryanair flight today, which we couldn't do from London City to Salzburg. However, let's try it from Dubrovnik down to Salzburg. Thank you so much for all the newcomers and the returning viewers. I hope the content has been fairly interesting. I've been enjoying it a lot lately. We did some really good flights. We did some good ones in the Citation X, the Gulfstream, and now with the addition of the Citation Jet 525, there will be a lot more shorter hops in the future, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course the 737, let's see if the delivery of the Ryanair on the Levelup aircraft is actually any good or not. So here we are, let's hop outside. It has in fact loaded. Brilliant, so the game does work. For a moment that, I honestly thought for a moment we'd spawned in the wrong place. Let me get rid of that timer for you, that shouldn't be on the screen. Yes, it kind of does look a little bit like Innsbruck here. Anyway, nice livery. I think I mentioned this before, but the G Romeo Uniform Kilo Bravo is a model, a real plane, and I think I actually have this little model as well. Cool, so we don't really have much delay today. I'm just going to log into the network now so we don't forget. And we're going to connect today as November 806 Sierra Bravo, and we are a Type B738, Boeing 737-800, new generation model, and pretty easy to tell the new generation models because they have these sort of winglets here. These are, yes, they're the kind of winglets you'll find on them. The newest 737-800, the winglets are the advanced technology winglets. Sometimes you may get the Schematar split winglets on these ones, but of course these ones are like the originals. And even before they had these, they were just straight wings, which weren't very effective. Okay, there's the cockpit. It looks like I thought one of the cockpit windows was open. It's just my imagination. So let's hop into this beast and let's hopefully get things started. Of course, I'm going to kick on the power first. That's a good thing to start with. And then we're going to get some battery power and probably going to go... Actually, should we go ground power, guys? I think we should. Connect the GPU. Let's get our navigation lights on. I'm going to stick our logo on just because it's dark today. There's ground power. We bring the aircraft to life. Let's just double check the sound. It's good. It seems pretty good on my end. Okay, so got the lights on there. We're going to put some lights down here, and I'll conduct the pre-flight checks. We won't do them all, of course. I'll just do the ones that test the lights and the systems in the aircraft. So go over to the overhead panel. We can set the slats and flaps lights. The airspeed overspeed warning. The voice recorder. They can't do the stall speed stall test for about 4 or 5 minutes, which is completely normal. Window heat test is good. We won't bother about that just yet. You can check a few things up here if you really want to, but i.e. you could turn some stuff on and back on, but that's not really something you would do on the checklist. Let's wait for the yaw damper thing to come back online. Down here though, we need to check this disconnect thing for the autopilot and auto throttles. We do that on the captain and co-pilot side. And we take the annunciation light, so everything else is illuminated as expected. Usually is in this aircraft. I've never had any issues so far. For some reason we're squawking that. We need to squawk in VFR for the moment. And we're going to do a adjustment down here on the lights as well. There we go. So in-up test is functional. Fire check, and the extinguishers are fully loaded. So if we start the APU, we know there is going to be extinguishers on the standby for us. Going back to the flight plan, we're going to get loaded now on the Avitab. They are stored, if anybody's wondering, although you guys are probably already familiar, in the output folder, FMS plans, and then your flight plan will appear there. I've got so many downloaded lately because I haven't been deleting them. I think it's LDDU, yeah, LDDU to Lowe's Airport. Fuel 5921 with a trip fuel of 3000. Can we do it? Yeah, we can do it on the tab on this one, can't we? Let's go ahead and enter this in first. I'm going to put 6000 in because it's pretty much close to it. Technically you'd round it down, but I like to round it up. You never know with Ryanair anyway, whether you're going to actually have enough fuel to get there or not. Weight and balance, the 150 packs on board. By the way, everybody, it's so crazy that EasyJet lately have had major issues on their flights. They had to ground all of them because there's some technical issues on their McDo's of the Airbus A320. So cargo 3,700. Activate. Call the fuel truck. We'll keep the flight plan open on the big tab, although I can't imagine going back to this little tab all the time. It would be a little bit of a pain just to keep going back to the chart page. We do need to enter it manually today, which is not a problem at all. We do the initialization after we've done the plan. Let's go ahead and enter it in. So in Lima Delta uniform, and we're going to Lima Oscar Whiskey Sierra. Yep, and then we put via into in here. Invalid entry. What was invalid about that? Anyway, via into departure might be a good thing to enter in first. It's going to save us 2, so it's already come up with the 4 Charlie Amigo 4 Charlie departure, and then runway 11 is the only option on there. That's fine. I'll activate it now, although we could wait. We could also enter a flight number. I don't actually have a flight number available today, as far as I'm aware. So we are a Boeing 737-800. We have a November 806 Sierra Bravo. I didn't give them a flight number, but we'll enter one in. So 36 will be fine. We'll go for Charlie direct to I'm assuming it's going to enter in the the whole thing, the whole departure, rather than just so we can go direct in Upson. There you go. Directed the bar. Bad, and then direct nipple. Nipple, we don't say nipple on the channel, we might get banned. And then from nipple direct to Rasta 2 Romeo. What an interesting name that is for an arrival, guys. Rasta 2 Romeo. Anyway, let's choose that. Rasta 2 Romeo arrival, runway 33. Looks like there's an RNAV option, but there's nothing else for the localizer. That's going to be interesting to do an RNAV. I just hope we don't get a dreaded DME arc, because I've had one of those before in the 737, and it got me a little bit confused because you don't technically get them in the 737s much, or even on an ILS approach. Yeah, so to have an airliner coming for a DME arc and then do into the approach is quite rare. Usually it's mostly GA aircraft. Going back to the route, that was a fairly simple job, as you can see. We could do the performance now, I guess. We could enter in our weight for fuel and our expected fuel and our cost index. Today they're skimping as expected. This is Ryanair, so cost index is 17. You probably won't see one above 50 on these light aircraft, light airliners. That is. This 777 is going to have a lot more, and you know a 747 usually has it over 100 on it. So trip fuel 30 is free. On planned fuel we have 6 on board, which is fine. Reserves gives about 3 in reserves as well. 0 fuel weight can be based on what you've got on your flight plan, but if you want an accurate reading, just click it when everybody and all the fuel's on board and it'll give you the 0 fuel weight. Although if you do want to enter it, it says it's estimated 57.3. And we'll wait and see again if that's any good or not, if it's accurate. Trip level, cruise level, probably not going to be very high, I'm guessing. So, maybe below 40,000. Yeah, 34,000 feet. Okay, we can do top of climb, outside air temperature and cruise winds. Thankfully, I've been doing this a bit more lately. I've actually been making the effort. 340, 158. 055 knots. And then of course the temperature is there as well, minus 59. It's absolutely freezing, as you can imagine. Brilliant, and it's even come up with the conversion there to 74 Fahrenheit. Maximum rates I think will be appropriate. We have got quite a lot of people on board today. $150 people. I suppose any amount really is a lot, isn't it? Check out that yaw damper's working. Still having some issues with this yaw damper. I have got ground power on. Usually it can connect with a good GPU on it. This is another reason. We'll get the window heats on. We may as well just get the APU started now then. And they are in fact loaded up by a jetway, and for some reason this rear one, but there's absolutely nobody getting in because the door's closed. We'll let them in the back and we'll hopefully board a little bit quicker that way. Would help if we had the IRS aligned. That's one thing I forgot to do, guys. That's fine. We still got the packs to load up anyway. There we go. Maybe it'll be a bit quicker because we've been started up without it. Who knows? Ah, there. Your damper works now. Brilliant. GPU, the APU is actually coming along quite slow today. Again, it could be that ice build-up because we're in cold weather. It's 15 degrees outside, so it's not too bad. As you can see, kicking on the aft fuel pumps, the APU's in the rear of the plane, guys. So technically, you wouldn't. There's no need to do that. I don't think it's on most aircraft. You wouldn't need to do that. There we go. So it peaks and then it will drop. Probably about between 4 or 5 usually. There it is, and APU generator off bus. Now we're going to put it onto the bus, and we're going to disconnect the ground power, and we're going to say goodbye to the GPU as well. Okay, goodbye GPU, and keep going back to the flight plan again. So performance-wise, we're going to go maximum, I think, today, 150. We could do climb 1, take off maximum rate, and then climb 1. That's absolutely fine as well. Select outside air temperature. It says it's 15 degrees. That's fine. That's correct. Take off performance. So this will change because based on the weight. So far, it's given us a 5% trim. So let's just trim it slightly to 5 degrees there, and a preliminary takeoff speed of about 131. I'm going to put the V2 speeds plus 10 today. And again, you can enter this in if you want to do the METAR. I like to get it off of X-Plane it's a little bit easier, although again you can get it off the chart and just go across to takeoff page. As you can see, takeoff data, we do need to get the QNH as well, we may as well do it now, so it's 1003. There's the VR speed, so what did we put, 152, it's giving us flat 5, 159, so that'll probably change when we're fully loaded, so that probably is quite close to what we already have. Take our winds and things, 11622. And also, yeah, as I say, checking on the X-plane map by just looking on this, you can see there 115 and 17, so it's pretty close to what was estimated. Minimum runway takeoff weight, maximum takeoff weight. Another information there, maximum this, minimum that. Runway slope, no idea. The conditions today are a little bit wet, so let's see if this will function. Yes, we can in fact select wet, and we can do deceleration or an acceleration point. So we could say 1500 for the acceleration height, rather than 1000 feet. And there you go. So when we'll have to wait to 1500 now to do the deceleration, which is actually pretty good because we're around the mountainous area here, so it may be a bit safe to do that. Outside the assumption is takeoff is selected. I think that's it. We just have to wait out for the IRS. Brilliant. Let's see if there's ATC online and give them a call. Doesn't look like there's anybody available in the area. In fact, we're the only ones down here. Dubrovnik is one of the neglected airports on the Croatian coast here. Usually people go up to Zagreb. Now don't get me wrong, Zagreb is a great airport, but Dubrovnik needs a little bit of love as well. Local time is 10 to 3. Captain store warning test positive. Co-pilot's positive as well. We have a pass. Let's get the trim air on. Temperature today, a little bit colder. We've got it in automatic. Let's just crank it up a little bit and make it nice and warm in the cabin. We know it's going to be absolutely freezing on cruise today. By the way, guys, I think I've asked this like many times before, but if you do want to see like a pre-assigned route or real-world route that you've flown or been on in a real plane, if it's a 737 or maybe even in an Airbus, then let me know and I will do the routes if you want to see it. Tested there. This guess just came up a case excuse me, a case of waiting. What are you getting my words mixed up today? I'm on IRS, 2 minutes. In the meantime, let's look at the charts. We can go back and look at the departure legs. Get the QNH, and this will give us more information down here on the wind. Departure 4, so it's coming at RNAV on this one, which is nice. Again, we've got an RNAV departure and arrival. Some of the requirements. Mugo 1 whiskey. That's our heading. So when we take off, I'll hand fly it up to a course of 189, and then we take a right and turn to a course of 284 and then 283. So that means I'll probably set the course for 283 on departure. And I think Mugo, if there was like a DME there or something, I would tune that in so we could follow that as well. So let's set course now to 283. I'm going to set the heading as well to the runway. I set it to 11 or something. Runway heading is 114 and then it'll be 189 after departure. Everyone keep that in mind, 189 after departure. IRS is aligned. It comes up with insufficient fuel quite a lot, and it really surprises me because we've obviously got it off Simbrief. Even if I got 6,000 on board, 6,000 kg, and we still haven't got enough. But we have, of course. I know for a fact we have. Going back to the weight and balance, though, we do need to somehow get that performance with the weight back in. I hope we can change it now we've entered it. You can even change the climb there, the cruise, etc. You could either do max rate, max angle. Okay, the jetway's disconnecting, that's good. Everybody is on board and we are pretty much, I think, ready to push back. Get all the ground weight now, everybody's on board. So 57.3 was predicted from Simbrief. And it is 59.9. Let's see if it's going to give us 100.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Thank you. Let's see if it's going to give us 159 in the V2. Which is what was on the flight plan. Go for the climb one again. 144, so it seems to have gone down a little bit. I don't know how that's possible. It's oh no, it's not gone down. No. I thought it just doesn't seem to have gone up very much. Absolutely bizarre. Anyway, 5.25 on the trim. A little bit hard to gauge what it's at on the trim wheel. I think a little bit more up than down is going to be fine. Anyway, we're ready to push back. I'm going to transpond.
TCAS test. Pass.
There's a pass on there. Let's squawk 7122. They have traffic in the area. I don't know if that's another plane or not. It may be. There's nobody on the airport. Again, it could be a bird issue. Not really familiar with this airport. First time here. I'm flying a lot of routes lately that I don't usually do, and I don't really know. So it's a learning curve for me as well, guys. Push back onto Whiskey and taxi via Whiskey now for to runway 11. And that corresponds with the wind direction, thankfully. So there's the Dubrovnik DME, but we're going to be flying out here and then departing up to the north, of course.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Get those beacon lights on. We get the flight controls turned on. The APU bleed can come on now. RT on the brake. Flight directors, initial altitude. I'm just going to put it straight up to our cruise.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Gonna set the parking brake and remove those chucks. Parking brake is set. Chucks, are they removed? Yes, so I think possibly pushback might do that as well.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
Runway 11.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
We are ready to go. Let's start number 2 engine.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Oh, we are going to light them up. Ready, steady, go, guys. We are pushing back now into taxiway and we'll be departing very, very shortly. Pushback really is a great little add-on and plug-in for the game. So we go for number 1 engine now. Let's see if we can get this going. Introduce the fuel. And the VNAV can be armed. Okay, it looks like number 1 and 2 engines have successfully started. We have good fuel flow, the oil pressure is rising, the oil temperature is rising as well. And of course the VIB.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake. And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
AGT and some reason they are decreasing. Got the bleed air on. Hold on a second, push back. We may have an engine issue. One of the engines. That's working fine, it's just this one. The left engine's not running. Now that could be a potential ice build-up again, so I'm going to stick the anti-ice on the engines. If there is ice inside and it melts, it will go back to normal N2, but we're not running at normal N2 at the moment. We're actually not running at normal oil pressure either. I don't know if this is a problem with the aircraft or COM1 radio fail. Let's just fix this. Maybe there's been an issue with failures, or maybe it's because of the last flight, or it might just be a livery specific issue. Again, I'm not too sure. So yeah, definitely running lower on the first engine. Maybe we should restart it because it's so I don't know why, guys. I don't know why it wouldn't start. That's an issue. We had a little bit of a problem on this one. I've had a problem on this one last time, i.e. when I did a flight of my own. So there's no obvious cause here why the fuel flow or things wouldn't start. The engine or the APU bleed air. The APU bleed air is good. Fuel bleed is normal. Let's go for a start again on number 1. It's rising, it's rising. We may have introduced fuel too early. Anti-ice is in fact working on the left engine there. Did you see that? It went yellow, which means it was melting off some of the ice. I suspected there could have been in that as well, which is actually quite realistic. So yeah, this is working a little bit better this time. Let's just hope it maintains the N2. Seems to be pretty good though. Again, it could be my fault with the introduction of fuel being too early. Let's just pull this standby attitude indicator into position. We'll cage it and uncage it. So yeah, there's a 6th start on the first engine too. Again, it might be my issue. Let's get going. Taxi into runway 11. So packs on, isolation, APU bleed air off. Let's get the pitos on now because it's a bit cold. I'm going to turn the engine anti-ice off. See how we go until takeoff. Lights on. Fingers crossed though, that is the only problem we're going to have the engines today. And of course, we're going to squawk Charlie for the ground taxi. Might as well get the window wipers on as well. It's going to be nice to see this actually. Isn't really an air blower on the window in these, not like those little jets. And as you know, guys, I prefer the little citation jets. Prefer the corporate stuff. seems a little bit loud though. I don't know if this is part of the update of what I explained I've been doing, but on my end it's even coming through quiet on the cockpit too. So it's quite a few guys. Let me know. I'm going to turn it up a little bit for you. Good morning, Sky Eagles. We're about to depart anytime soon. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that we've got the Gulfstream to work now. That's amazing. Again, we talked through on the stream about the web radar. It briefly worked, and then for some reason it wouldn't work again, if that makes sense. So we're still having issues. I'm still having issues with it myself. I'm just so glad it worked for you. I'm so glad you got things working. You got a flight done. It's always good to see that as well from people who watch the channel. Right, we're going to do the flaps on takeoff. We'll get to this whole point. Just check the maps and tell taxi whiskey alpha. Dubrovnik traffic. November 806 Sierra Bravo, taxiing to runway 11 via whiskey and alpha. I also did a flight last night, everybody, in the Citation Jet 525 from Edinburgh down to Blackpool to practice the NDB approach again. I have to say, every time I fly there lately, it's just always bad weather. I don't know what it is, it's just that time of year. It's just severe storms, severe turbulence. Probably well beyond our limitations in terms of flight capacity and aircraft capacity. But we did it. It was a success in the end. Thank you for the good flight wishes. It's really good to know. I would like to actually pair up with somebody on a shared flight sometime. That's something I've been talking about for a few months. To share a copy on X-Plane 12, and of course if people got the same aircraft, you know, could share it on the 737. If people are interested in doing that, let me know. But I'm more looking for people who are perhaps want to do it off of the stream rather than on the stream. Still got to try it out myself though. I've got to try it on the 737 things. Maximum taxi speed, guys, in the rain, you'll remember, is 15 knots. Window wipers will be on for takeoff. Am I British? Depends. It depends who you ask. Some people don't even know where my accent's from, but yes, I am English, British, from the United Kingdom. Where are you from, Sky Eagles? Are you from the States? I have a few people who watch me from United States. I have a few people from Europe. I also have a few people from Scandinavia as well. Speed brake to work in. We've got the controls, got the elevators and the ailerons are functional. Rudder control was good. Oh, Brazil. Wow. You're I think my first chatter who's from South America, so welcome in. I am going to be flying in South America again. I had a great recommendation from somebody called Travelbot who watches the streams as well, and he said, I think it was Peru, was it? The Cuscus? I can't remember where exactly. I'll have to go back and check. Yeah, that was a great flight. It'd be nice to fly back there. So we're going to get our taxi lights off, landing lights on, our strobes on. Continuous ignition is already set. The TA2 transponder receive and send. I will take off. mode. Flaps to 5. Let's just make sure we got this programmed in correctly on the joystick. So the Bravo throttle quadrants do not have reverses programmed in. You probably want to hold it at max, guys, if you do have a honeycomb. If you activate it, you still have to put manual thrust in. Toga button is actually preset as well, which is great. Right, auto throttle is coming to arms. Landing lights are on. We'll give them an announcement over the radio. I'm just glad to have more international viewers here. I really like flying in Brazil actually because, yeah, you've got great scenery on X-Wing 12. They have custom Brazil scenery, Rio de Janeiro, and Christ of Lima is in fact in it. I think you're doing very well. From what you're texting in the chat, it seems like you're a high level of English. Or you might be using a translator. Still, to me, it appears you're a high level. Lima to Cusco. Oh, thank you, Trevor Block. Yes. Lima to Cusco, of course. I called it Cuscos. We didn't fly into Cuscos, we flew into Cusco. I am going to go back. I am going to do a flight to Rio de Janeiro. I really want to do one in the Tupolev 154B2 in the Cubana livery. I know for a fact the Cuban president still has one of those planes in his fleet. The reason I know that, guys, is because he went to meet the Russians in it, didn't he? So, yeah, we can do it in the Cubano T154B. Let's get going. Parking brake released. Dubrovnik traffic, November 806, Sierra Bravo, occupying runway 11, departure to north.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
It is wet conditions. We've programmed the FMC for a wet runway and we've also put the winds in. Let's see how it handles it with a maximum takeoff rate and a climb 1D rate. Runway 11 is established. In the event of a go around or an engine failure, we will make back for runway 11. And we'll follow the ILS if there's one available. There's the departure, so these are the headings we're going to fly. We're going to fly initial heading of 114 and then, according to the charts, 189 and then 284. The course is already set onto 284 for us. So we're pretty much ready to go. So 40% on the N1. Engines are coming alive, there's no issues. Airspeed alive.
80 knots.
Cross check.
V1.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. $400.
400 feet. Today conditions here at Dubrovnik. Get ready for that outbound course.
1,000.
Right, 1,000 feet. We are going to decelerate anytime soon. Let's get our flaps up to 1. Severe conditions here, raining like crazy. Ryanair 737 is actually struggling with this one. Let's speed up to 230 knots and continue to climb to now flight level 340 on the Nuclear 1 Whiskey departure.
flaps up. Ignition to normal. To the window wipers off, now we're airborne. Look at those wind effects, those wind and rain effects on the windows, everybody. That is another level of detail, which this aircraft, honestly, is absolutely peak simulation. It's as close to the real thing as you're going to get on a flight sim. So there is the rough course. I'm following the map, but we do need to head on the heading of 114 and then 189, and then, of course, I'll find the one in 284. Let's set that now, 284, of course. Continue to turn on the outbound. Dubrovnik traffic November 8060, Bravo, climbing through flight level 70 for flight level 340, the Aviva 1 Whiskey departure. Feel the response of the Honeycomb as well, those G-force effects, those aerodynamic effects on the wings. You really feel the wind and things pushing over the ailerons as you turn it. It's absolutely incredible. It's almost like a 4-speed back Yoke. I'm pretty sure it is actually. It certainly feels like one. Let's see where we're going on the departure down here. So it says we're going to here that Levelup Boeing, which is the exact same plan direct transition levels, standard pressures. Let's get our landing lights off. Quite enjoying the departure on the hand float. It's always a lot of fun to do it. So fun to fly it. Anyway, autopilot is safe to engage at this point. Should continue climb to flight level 15.9, which is 15,900. Seatbelt signs, let's turn them off because it's fairly calm outside. And we increase our speed to 306 knots. And of course that final turn there to move with the departure on the course of 284 at last. Looks like we're going into the ice and the snowy conditions already. It is still plus 10 outside, amazingly. Let's go ahead and neutralise. Whoa, wrong button. Let's go ahead and neutralise the gear.
Gear up.
Should be a G on the keyboard, but for some reason it's not been
Gear
programmed. May have to leave it in the locked up position. Right, I think that's locked. Anyway, going into the anti-ice, need the anti-ice on. Climbing now through some turbulence. Expected time en route, everybody, is 1 hour 14 minutes. We had a 1 hour 42 block time, and we've been about 48 minutes so far, which is quite good. I mean, if it's take time, guys, don't rush it, get it all right. So yeah, not too far at all, not too long. course, across the Croatian coast, up Slovenia and Austria. Our alternate airport today is Lima Oscar Whiskey Lima, which is Linz Airport in Austria. Degrees of bank. This doesn't seem to be following the chart as I expected. They move over to 1 whiskey for a course of 1283. We're on a course of not 283. And so there's obviously discrepancies there between the charts and the real world and the aircraft operation sim. There are some places where it genuinely is inaccurate and it won't be perfect, but in this one you'd expect it to be at least half realistically decent. We should have been on 283, but we don't think we got to 283, did we? Even this course now is, what's that, 316 or something? Some complicated departures there though at Dubrovnik. We have the Mach 1 whiskey, which is basically an overhead over here. That's again insane, absolutely insane. So go back, we're going to get the new airport and check our arrival for those. We'll be doing the ILS today. I know there's one available for runway 15 at 1008. Just check the ground taxi restrictions actually before we get there. A lot of rules and regulations here at Lowe's Airport. We even have restrictions on the type of aircraft that can do a U-turn at the end. It's capable of landing a 747 though, an A380 by the looks of it. We won't bother with that too much. As you can see here, all these INS reference points and the GPS reference points are actually useful to pilots. I suspect to sailors as well, especially those who are on cruise ships. You do have to use these things occasionally, and they're a lot of fun to do. So yeah, there's parking spaces there for 747. We'll probably be down here on this side. This is the usually Type C parking for a 737, and it looks like Terminal 1 and 2 are available. So hopefully we can get off by Charlie. If not, we can make it to the end of the runway and then taxi back via Lima. And then we take exit 4 or something, or exit 3. We're not landing on runway 15 actually, we're landing on runway 33. They've given us the difficult approach here, so the approach without the ILS frequency. know from experience when they're coming around the mountains at Lowe's Airport, and you'll be flying really, really close to them, and you have to make like a steep turn to the final. Flaps are only 30 today as well, probably because of that turn at the end of the final. I'm really quite nervous about this now I've read the approach thing here. That explains why it's an R-nav approach. Alright, well we'll make do with it. R-nav. It's going to be interesting, let's say that. It's going to be very interesting. Let's check we've got no brakes on our routes. Yep, there's that turn I was talking about, so that is going to be really, really fun to do. We come down and then we turn manually towards the arc. There is an arc. I even said before I didn't want to move an arc, but there is an arc available there. Oh no, my worst fears have been realised, everybody. We're going to do an arc turn at the end. The runway 33. Maximum speed of 148. Okay, extreme weather now, everybody. We're in the danger zone. I forgot we had the weather radar as well on this. I didn't turn that on, but green is not too bad. Okay, the weather radar's looking great on the 737. It's working nice. Yellow is kind of pushing our comfort zone a little bit. Great to see the weather radar working now, though. It's such a great addition to the aircraft and the game. Anyway guys, I'm going to get a drink. We'll be monitoring the flights to make sure we don't crash. We may have to divert around this condition round to the east possibly. It just seems to be, it just seems absolutely awful, and it's going to get worse. A lot worse by the time we get into Austria. As you can see, it's going into the red zone, and that's where Austria is. Anyway, I'm going to get a drink, guys. I'll be back soon.
To go.
return to the cockpit. Looks like conditions are deteriorating once more. We are capable of flying 400 today. Maybe climbing will help. As you can see there though, Austria is the destination and that's where the weather gets considerably worse. And even the diversion and the alternate airport is still within that region. Yeah, as you can see up here, we're going to fly straight through it. And even our destination. God be with us. We'll say our prayers now. Traffic and ATC is online, but not for our area at the moment. Lips is, of course, Italy, and then Belgrade is online as well. I kind of think an alternate airport is good on the flight plan, but most of the time I will go to. Realistically, you can go to another place. There's no requirement to go to the set place. Anyway, I just got a call, guys. It's 34,000 feet. Be back. Alright everybody, sorry for the radio silence. Captain Grantham had an appointment at 34,000 feet. I feel really sick in this aircraft. I've been shaking all over the place like crazy. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. The waltzers are there. Anyway, if you are still here everybody, or whoever's viewing me, sometimes I, by the way guys, I can't see who's viewing me. I can usually see chat, but it will usually only say count viewers and not who's in it. So we're heading through absolute danger zone here. We've gone from the green into the orange. This storm is, well, this severe weather of Europe and the UK just hasn't subsided over the last few weeks since that gigantic storm that we had. And it's just all this awful effects. There's another aircraft. God bless him. DLH. God bless you, brother. Good luck on your trip to wherever you're going. So we're hopefully going to be out of it. We are actually going to be approaching Slovenia very soon. I think we're still over the Zagreb area and Croatia at the moment. Oh man. I'm so grateful the 737 is as stable as it is. We probably should have the seatbelt signs on at a time like this. I would not want to be sat on this window seat, everybody. Don't know what it is, but people like window seats. They're not the best place to sit if there's an engine fire, if there's turbulence, because you're going to feel super nauseous looking at this thing all the way through the flight. Personal preference is to sit somewhere in the front of the cabin. Anyway, we're on a heading now, 327. We're kind of breaking in and out of this severe weather, so I'm hoping by the time we get there, obviously the clouds won't be low down, but there was a beautiful rainbow before, which gives me a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope in my heart after that rainbow. Let's set our course to 327 as well. In terms of winds, although cruise wind's accurate, we've got a tailwind today, about 50 knots, which is going to help us get there quicker. And I can already see down here we've got Innsbruck, so that means Lowe's is very soon. Of course, Slovenia's territory here. It does look clear up here, actually. It looked worse earlier, so there's a lot of Austrian airports, and we'll see how that goes. We've not had ATC comms as far as I'm aware. And there's nothing coming up on the tower for the airport of Salzburg. We are literally flying through the eye of the hurricane right now. That's honest to God what it feels like. We're flying through the eye of a hurricane. It honestly looks like one as well. You look at the side here, these walls. These stone walls look absolutely insane. We're on a layer of cloud, believe it or not. We're floating right over the clouds. Wedged in between heaven and earth right here. Anyway, a little bit of calm gives us an opportunity to check, so we've got quite a bit of distance there to go. There's that initial, that complicated turn onto fire, which you can already see. Yeah, the storm has slowed us down despite that tailwind. It's taken so long to get through it. It's probably taken up longer than it should have. Destination of Salzburg is actually busy. There's quite a few aircraft parked at the airport. That's that like region, not necessarily ours though. They might be gone by the time we get there. Still a few though. It looks like there may be a 737 there and a A340, which is a huge plane, guys. And of course that is 164. Pretty sure that's for the 133. There it is. So 164, we come down and then we do a final turn to a course of whatever the runway course will be. Maximum speed of 150, about 5,000 feet, I think. Yes, transition altitude is 10,000, of course the Q&H is available on the charts. Q&H 1008. Somebody said is coming up after this nip out. And we'll go down to approach height probably. Saying for 10,000 feet, maybe because there's going to be some high terrain there. And then 5,500. Continuing down onto 2,300 feet for the approach. And we're just basically going to be making a descending turn towards the runway. Love's Airport. Not sure how this is classed as a visual approach. So I feel like we may, if there's low visibility, we're probably not going to be able to see anything. We may have to do something else, I guess. Go to the rear. Let's find the Raster 2 Romeo arrival. As the Raster 2 Romeo from the south to 10,000 feet as the altitude will go down to. There's the DME frequency, so let's tune that in to Salzburg. So 113.8. That's already pre-tuned in. And that should appear down here. So as you can see, the green arrow is now tracking the DME for Salzburg. And from that point we'll go onto the... It's strange, this guy's going that way and then obviously we'll turn round possibly and then come back to runway 33. Let's see how that goes, that'd be interesting though. So up there towards the DME, take the... again, I'm not sure how that's going to play out at all. This is definitely an arc of the DME. It even says it there. It's not a DME arc approach though, but it certainly looks like one. Anyway, let's do 10,000 feet on the old MCP altitude panel. Listen to those sounds, everybody. Listen to that awesome sound effects. Didn't need a reason to fly this plane already. You have one now, it's absolutely fantastic. How are we doing on temperature? So it wasn't actually minus 50, I think it was minus 54 on the charts, but it's minus 33, so it's not as bad as it was expected to be. Temperature wise, it's gone up to like a good amount there on the pressure. Temperature wise, it's gone up to about 30 degrees. Let's just crank that down a little bit before we boil to death. A little bit cooler in the back than it is in the front. In fact, let's bring it down below 20 degrees now. We've boiled everybody alive. I will make a video for you all. I know somebody asked about, said they weren't sure about DME arcs. I would like to fly one on the channel in a smaller plane for you guys. Acceleration point 258 knots. Oh, at last, praise the plane's abilities. We're through it. Oh, whoa, there's Salzburg Airport. I didn't realise how close we were. Oh my goodness, we may not even descend in time. How embarrassing. So, looks like we're flying out to this D&B at Salzburg, turning around and then coming back down to runway 33. So we'll have to do like a snake pattern. Up, down, and then up to runway 33. But right between the mountains, we may have been better off on a straight-in approach. Straight into runway 33. Either way, we need to get down quick. Let's go for a level change on this one. Let's bring out our speed brakes as well. We might as well get prepared for landing now, so I didn't expect us to be that close. The top of the descent was a bit too close to the airport. I'm not even sure how that's going to work, because it's obviously autopilot's going to turn us around, but then we'll have to manually fly it. By the way, guys, that backup altimeter there is absolutely brilliant. Look at the detail of the wear and tear on it. You don't see those sort of things in a lot of pay-wear aircraft. I keep reiterating the point for these developers who continue to charge a lot of money but don't deliver products at high quality. Yeah, and then that dreaded manual hand-flown approach to runway 33. I just hope everyone else is taking off on the same runway and landing on the same one as well. There's the mountains, guys, so Lowe's Airport. Incredible. Let's get the transition level off the airport itself. So 10,000 feet, 1008 QNH. Altitude 1400 feet, set on the pressurization. Set the minimums. It didn't do it on takeoff. Again, not essential, I don't think. For 1400 feet, set 200 on the radio. Try on the barometric. Salzburg traffic, November 806 Sierra Bravo, descending flight number 100, Rasta 2 Romeo, arrival, runway 33. Flaps to 1. Got a lot of descending and a lot of slowing down to do before we get onto final. Really hope we can do this, guys. Anyway, let's set our auto brakes today onto a 2. Seatbelt signs are already on. Let's do that for the cabin. We'll get the B speeds down here in the initialization. So we're only expecting 30 degrees of flaps, probably because of that turn and final. To 151 at 40 degrees, at 30 degrees. 51 knots. You got wind correction there, 5 knots. We'll wait to see what the actual wind is when we get down. Should be pretty good. Reference is now appearing 151. We're taking up there, runway 33. That's reassuring. Again, we probably could have gone straight in if we were down at the right altitude, but we've got to fly the approach as it's programmed. It's a really complicated, so it's coming in like almost like a figure of 8. Either way, we're going to go down to probably lower than 10,000 feet, I think. 8,000 feet. Bearing in mind the altitude of the airport is 50. VNAV wants us to slow down to 189, let's do what it wants. Get ready with your ratings, everybody. I think the Levelup gives you a little bit of a more accurate rating than the Zebo mod does. That's my experience anyway. It may be that it's just handling a lot better and can fly a lot better as well. It's subjective, isn't it? We are tracking the DME indeed. Keep an eye out for that departing traffic as we make our U-turn here. Yeah, there he goes, he's taken off. Got a few departures here. It's a lot easier to get it from out and in from runway 15, runway 33. If you come round this side, it'd be right next to the mountain, same as this side. Let's try the lever change again. Let's go for the vertical speed. So 8,000 feet to Rudder and then down to 4, and then for the approach we need to be... It's given us a bit of a conflicting thing with the altitudes. I think 5,000 for the approach. Yes. Round and then back round. 158, we just gotta keep an eye on that speed limit thing.
Seatbelt signs can be back on for our arrival. If you're up and about, please return your seats, fasten your seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again. Hope you have a nice week. Have you on the air very shortly.
Recall this chair status is not available. We got the Q&H. Flaps have been set to 1. Approach briefing is complete. We've checked the approach charts. The only thing left to do would be to give a call out on final approach, which won't be on the direct final today. It'll probably be off to the side of the runway. There's that aircraft though, departing God knows where, but hopefully he has a fantastic flight. and then down to 4,000 feet. I suppose being a little bit too high has its advantages, doesn't it? And we can just get down to the right altitude in time. Still got a good 6,000 feet to go. Let's get our flaps to 5. We want to add a little bit more drag in there. And probably want to slow down to about 180. Still got the spoilers fully extended. Need to have the bank angle probably on 25 degrees at this point. Transition altitude, so 1008 QNH, synced across all devices. Drag required, we've got 5 degrees of flap set, so it should slow us down anytime soon. We are steeply descending though, so that's going to be taken into account. It looks like final height, as I say, 4,000, and then sort of like that descending arc. See, arc left, the arc left turn, and then obviously the arc right onto final, descending through 2,000 feet. So it's all descending turns, this, guys. That last one though, we haven't got much room for error, and on manoeuvring we can't do a very big turn. Even if we do it hand flow, and it's going to be very, very tight. Flaps to 10, we're overspeeding for flap setting. Wind is going to be, unfortunately, a tailwind, but it's pretty much non-existent. So there we are, and then we're going to do a figure of 8 through this tiny, tiny valley into runway 33. Go around, it'll be straight back up to 5,000 feet, and then we'll go back to the DME and turn back for the this sort of circular pattern here. Spoilers on. Very much, Sky Eagles channel. Thank you. pray, everybody, pray for the Ryanair flight. As Ryanair, everybody's take into account that we set a really cheap budget. Well, yeah, we charged 22 for extras, including the landing. By the way, the landing is extra, not included with the flight fee. Look up 15 degrees of flaps. We're already going up to 30 degrees in preparation for this final turn, and there is the dreaded mountain with which we're going to have to pass through. There's the runway directly ahead, so across, and then it's not as bad as I thought, and then round and then down. It's extremely dangerous in the dark, as you can imagine. We should be descending, we shouldn't be at 5,500 feet. Well, I guess that's part of the descending turn, everybody. We're giving them an announcement now to make sure they're aware of what's happening. Salzburg traffic, November 806, Sierra Bravo, 5,500 feet. We're going to be doing a descending turn, the Arnav approach runway 33. Don't know why I would say it like that, but maybe give them a bit more instruction from my part and make it clear what my intentions are with no ATC. Anyway, temperature is +2. We keep the anti-ice on for now. Packs are on, of course. We're going to put the ignition continuous now for this final turning thing. It is. I'm really hoping by the time we get lower down it'll clear, but I'm pretty sure it will. Thank goodness it wasn't stormy weather over this area. Yeah, G. Ruka, I never thought I'd be flying this aircraft. I have, like I say, I have this model. Plane 737. It's only a 1400 model, so it's pretty small. Yeah, it's just incredible. I've never actually flown on it in real life. Again, how is the 737 going to maneuver on this corner and this turn? It seems impossible, doesn't it, at this point? And then it's got to get balanced. It actually makes sense to go right rather than left. But for some reason it's going left when even the chart says go right on it. So it's technically from here to final. We could just change it now when you're 805 to 801, for example. Let's try that, that might make it a bit easier. Yeah, that seems a lot easier. And that's the official way to do it. Cool, we should be descending now to 4,000 feet. Reference speed is 151. For some reason the VNAV is giving us 148. Again, it changes based on weights. So only adding 3 degrees correction onto our VNAV. Speed reference 151. Something going on with the trim here. Maybe the flap setting, sometimes I can mess it up.
2,500.
That's a gear warning, everybody. We can't really shut that off as far as we can see. I don't know how to do it. Let's take control. Let's fly this aircraft ourselves. Sounds dangerous, but it's not. Very close to the terrain, completely normal. Why we need terrain warning and inhibit. Probably should have done it to the left and then the right, not the other way around. Oh, we're definitely not going to crash, we're absolutely fine. Grantham, he likes to do dangerous approaches. And this is extremely stupid to change that approach to the left. To the right there, not the left. Anyway guys, we're a little bit more stable now on the approach. Let's go back to the L now. Gear warning will come on below a certain thrust settings, so keep that there. And I'll fly it manually all the way into landing for you. There's the runway. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any way would have been safe. Cockpit seems a little bit strange in terms of lighting. Position is continuous. Let's take the gear down with full flaps. I'm going to keep the N1 about 50 to 55%. Salzburg traffic, November 806 Sierra Bravo, final runway 33. And if we want, we can select approach, but again, we don't have an ILS tuned in, so it might be a little bit redundant to do so. It's giving us a little bit of guidance there on the flight director. Feet. Really calm on the winds, extremely calm. Feet. 400 feet. A bit more thrust in that. 300. Our reference speed just about. 200 feet.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reversers and spoilers. Reversers are active. Also, brake is on 2, not doing a very good job, probably because it's wet. Smooth touchdown, safe touchdown, welcome to Salzburg.
80 knots.
Cross check 80 knots, and I'm going to just engage the reversers, and we're going to go for manual braking from this point on. Fantastic. Flaps up, spoilers up. Can we taxi to the end and then take a turn off? Yes, we can. was a great landing. We're going to watch that replay because that was lovely. And the transponder can stay on TCAS for now. Let's stick it on to ground mode. There we go. There's an aircraft there. Is he going to taxi there? He probably is, which means we can't go that way. Great. Could have a turn-off problem here, so I'm going to be considerate and turn around on the runway. We can't have a collision. Salzburg traffic, November 806 Air Bravo, backtracking runway 33. We'll do a short U-turn here before we get to the end. Again, you've got to be super careful in the wet. We'll be the considerate ones. We know for a fact that the other plane won't move out the way. And he is a big one, to be fair. He's in an A340. And now he's vanished. So we're going to take this turn off. I suspect he's disconnected because he doesn't want to wait for us. I think that's actually against the rules, guys. I know I'm being picky here, but it is a little bit wrong, isn't it, to disconnect from the network and then reconnect when it suits you. Once the brakes are coming off, the strobes are coming off. We could probably turn the wing lights off. And we'll figure out where we are in the airport. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. That was a super flight to have. The end was a bit stupid because of that change of the FMC, but it worked out well on the landing. We didn't crash, so that's a bonus. Just realised as well that aircraft was departing on the wrong runway. It should have been departing from runway 33. Again, I'm just pointing things out about the kind of people that want to fly but come on the network, and I don't know, it just another reason why I don't want to fly in it, to be honest. I think it's all going to the artificial intelligence nowadays. They got the AI taking over people's jobs. Actually, they're a bit more interesting to talk to sometimes. Right, we're coming in, so I'm going to turn the taxi lights off. We're in the vicinity of the terminal, although they are illuminating the ground very well. Got some smaller private ones there, the big ones over there, or we could probably take stand over here, which is fine. There's not a proper terminal with jetways here, so we'll go on the left hand side. Transponder is to standby. We're going to turn that back to 7,000 VFR. very, very steep airport. There's a lot of sloping on it. So, thankfully, we made it in one piece. Parking brakes still feel a little bit off. We will check the performance rating. Look at the APU on. We're living in a standby position with the other crew. So our flight controls and not turn the fuel pumps off just yet. Isolation valve. I'm going to turn the packs off. It's not exactly that warm or cold outside. Trim air can stay on. Automatic the ignitions. Go ahead and get the ground services. I think GPU can only be connected realistically when the engines are shut down, so that's why we need to get the APU online. Clean up the aircraft for the next crew. Those window heat can stay on. In fact, no, let's turn it off. We don't know when the next crew will be here, so we'll turn it off. Leave the IRS aligned. Brilliant, so we switched over to the APU. Blue air's coming on, and we can shut down the engines. Awesome. It's not like a general, completely different. I was surprised actually the airplane can cope with engines on and off with avionics, but obviously it's all integrated into one system. Right, moment of truth. We are going to deboard people in a sec, so let's see what signs are. Beacon light can come off. Engines are winding down. And there they come, guys, the noble baggage crew. And we should have passenger deboarding things coming to us as well. End flight, maybe set chocks. Terminate flight leg. We'll open the cockpit doors because say goodbye to people. Yep, there they are, buses and the stairs are being deployed automatically. Again, I'm not sure how to do that. I clicked it around this area and it did it automatically one time. Not the blooming emergency exit. Looks like it's going to be the air stairs, those cheap metal rattly things. Finally, moment of truth. Approach rating poor. Well, I don't think it was. Landing was great though, 4 stars. I think the approach rating is poor because it classed it as being on the approach when we did that turn into the mountain. Well, when we came round the mountain, we actually got on track pretty well, and the approach was on the exact height we needed it to be. But yeah, 4-star on landing, I'll take that. The approach was poor, I'll take that as well. That's good feedback. Anyway, guys, until next time, I hope you have a lovely, lovely week ahead of you, and with plenty more flights. I have taken into account the feedback about the shorter sectors, i.e. one leg and then a little break and then another leg. I certainly like those a lot more. It keeps you in the aircraft for longer. It's not the same on the 737 because, of course, it's a big airliner. You wouldn't. It's hard to say, you wouldn't really be doing much hands-on in an airliner as much as you would a little one, unless we were flying domestic flights in the UK or perhaps in Europe or something. Something to consider. We could consider a 2-leg section for the Ryanair 737 or another one. Anyway, guys, I will replay the replay. Stick around for it or not, and thank you so much for the recurring viewers and those who are new. Take care.